Don't lose your way. Your mind, we have to be as one.
What's good, YouTube? Warstorm here, coming at you guys with another video today. Now, today I'm actually doing a single card discussion. You guys know I don't do these a lot because I feel like just, droning on about the Yu-Gi-Oh organization website, just copy and pasting is quite lazy. But this card, I think, caught everyone's eye, but it really caught mine. I feel like it's going to be the next, dimensional barrier in terms of how it defines the format, which is, this card's name is Struggling Battle. So if you haven't read this card, it's very, very simple. At the end of the battle phase, if your opponent controls more cards than you do, make your opponent banish cards they control face down, their choice, so that they control the same number of cards as you. If you control no cards, you can activate this from your hand. So this card comes out in Circuit Break, which is the set after Code of the Duelist, so it'll be right around November. What this card does, in my opinion, is that it could go two different ways. It fixes the fundamental flaw that we've had in our game about unbreakable boards. Unbreakable boards have been a really, we really didn't have the problem until, I feel like it was kind of, Metal Foes and ABCs really didn't have that issue. I mean, yeah, the ABC back row was annoying to play through, but it wasn't unbreakable. And then I feel like the DDD structure kind of put in the problem, and then Zodiac's just exasperated the problem. And then, of course, now we're dealing with Masterpiece and VFD, which are, don't get me started on those two cards, but this card is ridiculous for what in terms of it does for your ability to go second. So it could go two different ways. Like, it could be a really healthy thing for the game because it forces it's much like Exciton Knight. When Exciton Knight was legal, you could set up a board, but if you didn't have the proper trap set, your opponent could go Exciton and just wipe your board. There's a lot of decks like, now, if you're playing something like Shaddolls at the time, you didn't necessarily care, but if you're playing something like Heroes, it's very fragile in terms of its setup. If you did not have that set Fiendish Chain or Breakthrough skill to deal with the Exciton Knight, you were going to have a bad time. And one of the things about this card is how it would work is if you're going, I feel like this card could become at least a 3-up side deck staple debating when you're going second, because say your opponent sets up like their, the normal zoo board, and we're talking links, so it would be like a Mrs. Radiant with a Trident and an Emerald and a bunch of back row. And you go straight to battle phase, you activate this, go to main phase 2. Now your opponent gets to choose one card to keep. This important thing in mind, because when you activate this from your hand with its control no card clause, it will they get to choose one card to keep. But that effect does not target, so any kind of protection they would have, everything's going to go. Now in most cases they're probably going to keep either their Link Monster or their Trident, but if they've overextended too much and you drew into this, your opponent is really going to have a bad time. The important thing to know about this, I don't feel like it's much like Exciton Knight. I feel like if you're using this card, you're not going to be able to kill your opponent the turn it's activated. That's very important. That's one thing I do like about it in terms of what it does for the game, is that it helps to fix the problem with unbreakable boards, but at the same time, you can't activate this and then automatically kill your opponent in the same turn, because you have to activate it during the battle phase. Now, I admit, when I first read this card, I'm like, oh, it's just chain burn garbage, but I feel like there is literally, in my opinion, absolutely zero reason not to side deck this card at 3 in just about everything when it comes out, because your opponent's going to set up a big board and you should be like, get it all out of here. Now, the big question is this going to be, the big question to me at least, is this card going to be good for the game in that it fixes the complete, breakable board problem, or is it going to be bad for the game where it becomes a luck sack card? Luck sack, by luck sack, I mean, if you remember how Wavering Eyes was when it was legal during Pepe format. Nowadays, I feel like Wavering's not nearly the problem it was back then. I'm just judging from my testing from the OCG, it could probably come back now because Pendulum Mirrors aren't nearly as prevalent. But Wavering Eyes, one of the things about Wavering Eyes that made it so broken was that if you drew Wavering, even when, we had the neutered Pepe format, if you Wavering your opponent, every time I resolved Wavering for 4, I won the game. And it was just unhealthy card for the game in general at the time. And I feel the same way that this card could go as well. It could be one of those luck sack cards where you draw it, you win automatically because you drew this card. Or could it be a card that really helps the game in terms of fixing the problem of the crux of the unbreakable board problem? That is a real question. So anyway, guys, even though I don't do a lot of these discussions, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you want to see a few more single card discussions, I could definitely do that. I'm not going to do it a ton of the time. Maybe I could make it a once a week or once every couple weeks thing. But if you like these kind of videos, I can definitely do some more of them. So anyway, guys, about comes the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think of Struggling Battle. Do you think it's not going to see a lot of play, except in, except in kind of like troll decks like Chainburn? Is it an absolute mandatory 3-of staple like I'm saying? Or could it be the next, unhealthy card that ends up getting on the ban list? Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And as always, I thank you guys for watching. Swarstorm signing out.